Hey, Shalom, 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 Shalom. After Jim Miss Cleveland coming out here with another week. All right, Lord willing, let's get another edifying camp. But before we get started, we'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah. BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, HAQADASH. Double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops for bringing those songs to the truth. And we will, Shalom, we hope for it. All right, to get straight to it, man. Speaking on the things that that's been occurring, that's about to affect the economy. That should affect the economy in the next coming 2 weeks. So this tariff war, this trade war that's been going on between China and the U.S. With Trump with his 245% tariffs, are having a lot of American goods are just getting shipped from China over here, but it's halted on their ports, all right, because of the tariff war. And China, I believe, with them, they got 145% tax on their goods. They say they're not going to go up, but the whole thing is Trump is crippling, the economy. So, what further would rather target? Because within these trade wars, these imports ain't going to be coming in. So a lot of goods that be coming to these stores like Targets, Walmart, BJ, Home Depot, even down to it's been affected. Airplanes like the Boys. All right, they get parts. Yeah, they get their parts from China. A lot of parts get made in China. All right, so that's going to affect the economy the same time. Like the automotive industry, you know, you ain't going to get parts for cars. You know, things are going to feel that sting like Trump said.
Yeah, and when he said up there, basically like the scripture talk about how like he said, he said he said this each state this couldn't until the because he made it seem like it was going to be a light thing when he first mentioned putting the tariffs on these other countries or these nations because he said yeah, we're going to feel it a little bit, right, a little bit, you know what I'm saying, but when this is going to drastically affect the American
Yeah, bro. I literally watched the numbers change. Like I looked at the numbers and the numbers changed. Like these niggas is it's changing all throughout the day. You go fast and say this, and then 10 minutes later you say that, and then 30 minutes you say another place. We moving into hyperinflation. Like,
Yep. Right. And like I said, these stores like the Walmart, and Sam Club, and DJ's Home Depot, they already said that with this tariff, so the sales are going to be empty in these next couple of weeks. If this keep going, all right, and the American citizens want Trump to make a deal with the GDP, China's China's president. All right, but he said that he can talk to him, but when Xi Jinping, his administration or his advisors said that they haven't been talking to Trump. All right, so just to let you know that things are going to get worse.
they say 10 days. They said like we're gonna have to make we're gonna have to make a deal in 10 days.
yeah,
Chill.
yeah, because brothers always on the list when we talking about this topic. How these stores they only carry us, they only carry like a supply for like up to a week or some change. You know what I'm saying? These stores ain't as full as you think they are with resources. That's why you constantly seeing these trucks pull up at these stores because they're restocking. You know what I'm saying? Bringing in the goods. You know what I'm saying? The import export. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what's gonna be affected. Shit finna like literally everything is about to stop moving.
Companies that send stuff to China, they don't even want to pay the tax. So now they moving companies to China, right? Just so they can make things, right, make things make sense, all right?
Yep.
Because they don't want to pay all that tax on the tariff. So that's even more jobs leaving this country.
Yep, that's right. Look, I got you. It's 6 and 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown.
Right, all these stores, like you said, Home Depot, all the Walmart, go to. I like that. When you go into these stores, all these places they get their goods from China, they're not going to pay that tax that they pay. So it's only going to be certain amount of things that's going to be in the store. If you don't be able to get it, if they do have certain things on that stuff, you're going to have to pay probably 10 times more than what you just paid for. And that's that inflation.
So then it says, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
Right, when you go shopping, go in the stores, it's going to be looking vacant like that.
Yep.
It's going to be nothing but paper plates and paper cups and my clubs and shit like that.
Yes, sir.
Right. because a lot of these goods come from overseas. That's why China now funded Mexico. I believe they funded them $4 billion to basically all that now. Get them back behind us now. Yeah. The third time, new time, they're going to bring that this to them. Not going to be paying to go through the Panama Canal. Yeah.
Yep.
This word too, you said.
And that's cold too. Like you gotta realize, like I don't know because I was goddamn in and out of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Jake be in the chat, so I got them like halfway sleep. But I seen a brother post something. I think a brother y'all posted something to TikTok earlier, and it was showing how people going. I don't know where it was at, so I can't tell you where, but people were going on food runs. Basically, like, and what does that time remind you of? When people start going to fill up on gas. You hear me? C-19. You know what I'm saying? That's what took place. People start not raiding the stores, but people basically start going on these store runs. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? They understand things around them will change. They like, shit, we ain't got shit. So they start going to buy up everything, buying up all the goods, buying up all the resources. And that's what people start seeing a lot of people do. Because the people, desperate times call for what? Desperate measures. So a lot of people finna start doing certain things to what? To try to save their life. Got it off the lot.
Hey, I got that word real quick. I got hyperinflation. You know, inflation, they give you like the regular inflation definition, like stuff error, which is what it is. It's a blowing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It increased at something. So this is hyperinflation though, because this is what we're moving to. We already been in inflation. We're moving into hyperinflation. Hyper is a compound word, hyper, and then inflation. Hyper is over exceeding to excess. So over, right? So over the amount, like the cup running over type of deal. This is hyperinflation. Hyperinflation. It says, okay, here we go. I like it, bro. All right, this is triple. All right, hyperinflation. It says, inflation. It says swelling caused by gathering of wind, which we said. Action of inflating. Damn. Bro, this shit is tripping. Anyways, that's the point, man. It's a over. What? It's an exertion of a gathering of air, right? And in this case, it's an exertion of gathering of taxes and you know and everything that pertains to the economy, man. That's why you see the prices still going up and what you got? Yeah, what you got in that?
This is
You got it, Quan, for life.
This is hyperinflation. This is hyperinflation in the chat GPT. It says hyperinflation is when prices in an economy rise extremely quickly and uncontrollably.
Woo! Extremely quickly and uncontrollably, bro. You see? That's what this is. That's what the cause is, bro. Because the tariffs is making these businesses have to react. You know what I'm saying? Because you got different contracts and different things pertaining to. That's why damn, who was that? They said, I forgot who said that, man. But you got different contracts with different states, different countries, right? Pertaining to goods, merchandise, right? Oils, food, toiletry, you know, water, so
Minerals, that's it, minerals. And if I go ahead. Yeah. That's what the brother was saying. Fuck up, right? Yeah, like the brother was saying, like the things that's coming from these countries is things that's good that you know you Americans need on an everyday basis, right? You know, especially like with these hospitals. A lot of these hospital equipment come from China, right? So if that stops, then how's you know the hospital business is going to plummet lightweight, man. You know, you can't reuse certain equipment. You know, it got to be disposed of special type of.
oh, that's why you said that, bro. Because I've been in the hospital for the last this year. So the year started a lot, you know, for different reasons, right? And you know, and bro, they don't even got space in these hospitals. So let alone running out of material, bro. That means that the hospitals are overstacked. You know what I'm saying? So if it's overstacked, you ain't got the materials to help with the overstackness. Like that shit is gonna cause a problem, bro. Just add to your point, on
Right. What if some of these equipment, you know, break like the X-ray machines and shit like that?
But for these X-ray machines, these motherfucking ventilators that these people living off of, that's breathing for, or motherfuckers that hooked up the dialysis, we need, be not them little green tanks that they hold around and shit like this. We need that shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta realize this shit's gonna dry up quick. That's because the Heavenly Father getting ready to start executing judgment upon the earth. It's time to start killing people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, Yahawah was shot not playing. You feel what I'm saying? So you got them sucking everything dry. Like the brother said, I thought it was Mike because he's like, basically, I had to inflation it to blow up. Like the Lord's gonna blow up everything in the mirror before he blows up the mirror. This shit, this thing is getting, wickedness is being rooted up. But, yeah, so I'm gonna go back there. That's not hyperinflation. Yeah. It says hyperinflation is hyperinflation is when prices in the economy rise extremely quickly and uncontrollably, often more than 50% per month. It usually happens when a country's money loses value fast, and people need more and more currency to buy even basic things like food and fuel.
Yep. So you gotta think about that too. The dollar is being de-dollarized. So now with the dollar being weakened, and it's not even the prices on certain goods is gonna go up, right? To the point where it's like the money is going. It's like it's going to separate. I'm trying to word it.
Yeah, it's going.
You're gonna need
like
more money. You're gonna need more money just to buy, a certain item. And then now this item is even way more than what it used to cost. So now you basically about to be, poor. And that's what Trump is doing. He's taking away the middle class, trying to put everybody in that poor section to get these 15-minute cities rolled out to where everybody would be more cramped up, so where you be less space to where the UBI is going to come out, and people going to try to live off that, and the MOTB is going to be implemented.
Right. They're gonna run to that because, like you said, the UBI, which stands for what?
Universal basic income.
Yep. Universal basic income. Because and it's given by who? It's given by the government. It's a currency issued out by the government to sustain society. You see what I'm saying? That's how homeless people will be able to qualify for the UBI. You see, it's an allowance. That's the word. That is an allowance given to the civilians. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because the value of the dollar is weaker. You see what I'm saying? So they can't afford certain things. Like they nigga fucking eggs. I laughed about it. We laughed about it last weekend, 2 weeks ago, about that meme with the eggs. They said nigga like he buying weed on the streets. I mean, yeah, weed. He buying weed. No, he buying eggs. Yeah, he been buying weed out the store and eggs on the streets. Yeah, we do. I think I know.
Okay. That's it. Shit, that's how it go now. You know what I'm saying? Because these motherfuckers not finding a way to tax that shit. They don't find a way to get the money out of it. That's why they selling this shit in the stores now. So it's showing you how these motherfuckers start to put these people they want. You know what I'm saying? Saying what the scripture says, we have need of these, use these, smile upon these, roughly paraphrasing. And that's what this devil doing. He doing all this shit and laughing at them there. You feel what I'm saying? But see, all this, and that's why they get even back then when we talk about April 20th, they were supposed to do what? It was talk to them rolling out what? Martial law. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand when this shit really go up, that's what it's going to take, because it's going to go into it in the definition, not martial law specifically, but it's going to show you why they're going to have to implement martial law. So it says, it gives bullet points after that definition. So it says it's often caused by massive money printing by governments, right? So it says loss of confidence in the currency, which you just got done talking about, but it's a good point right here, bullet point, right? It says supply shocks like war or natural disasters, right? So it says like war or natural disaster, supply shock. And that's what when it's a lack of resources, that's what it's gonna cause. It's gonna cause war. You know what I'm saying? They take that and take it to 16. People invading one another, right? Go ahead.
Next 15 or 19.
I'll read it for you.
Look, like the brother going into, as soon as there be that famine of good, that lack of bread, people gonna bug out, get all crazy, man.
Yep.
Like I said, you're not treating you hungry, you're angry, all right. But with the loss of a lot of things, fuck the food, people, addicted to a lot of lustful things here in Babylon. If they can't get these things, all right, they gonna be, they're gonna bug out.
Yep. Now start at 16. This thing is 15 to 16. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Right. This is going to be a uprising. It's going to be a great rebellion amongst people, man. All right, and people ain't going to listen to the laws, but they're going to regard the police, the mayors, the singers, what they put out here. All right, people going to take actions in their own hands because they don't want to pay for themselves, because they're going to see that the government ain't really doing for them.
That's why they're going to have to implement a military force, something that people, some bigger presence with bigger artillery to scare the masses to not do the things that they're getting ready to do to preserve themselves. Ultimately.
Yeah, to keep control.
Yep.
That's what the government. That's what the military do. They issue in what's the call? What's the first part of the military called before the actual military comes in? What's the yeah. They first it's the National Guard. They issue in the National Guard, and then it's the military. And they might just skip the fucking National Guard. They might go straight to the.
So then it says, verse 17, and this is right here. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. What's going to prevent a man from going into another city? Like we do every day on a day-to-day basis, going into this city and that county and that county. It's going to be blockade. That means there's going to be a military presence in those areas, preventing people from going into those areas. So then it says, verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Coming to the time, there's some trouble, man. Especially for the pride of you people, man. Mm-hmm. All right, read that back to the time.
Verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Right, this city, the great city, Babylon, the Lord is bringing this place to an end. He's about to bring your spirit among you. He's about to raise up his board, which is devils, all right, and which is also his witness figure. He's going to judge a lot of you against us. Like I said, we come to the time to make trouble.
Yep. Then in verse 19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword.
All right, what's the modern day sword? All right, the gun, which a lot of these get my stat that they heavy with they arsenal. Right? They got videos of them throwing closets full of guns. Even some chicks, they got they little bonds and whatnot. But the times to come, like we was going into, these stores, they're not gonna have no goods. So where the goods gonna be at? With people that stored up in their houses. People gonna be raiding other people's houses, people that they thought was friends, neighbors for years. They're gonna run into their houses to steal their goods because they're lack of bread.
Then it says, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation.
Great tribulation, these pearls of sponsors coming towards us, man. People going like I said, want to fend for themselves and their family. People got their family to feed. Alex Jones already said he said eat this nigga or something like that. So go ahead. So just imagine times we coming into. It could be a pretty fucked up family, man.
No, go ahead.
Break it down.
This 1 Thessalonians 5:3. But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Time that we already seeing the times to come in because we're watching we aware. All right, you got those preppers that be on YouTube, speaking on the top. They watching, they aware. All right, they giving out certain warnings. All right, but soon it's things about to get to a dry treatment. Things ain't gonna be a good feeling. But things gonna be bad. Like we just going into. You're about to start seeing a lot of wickedness. People about to show their two colors, man.
Yep. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Right, this is not escape, man. All right, because judgment is going to be set, man. All right, What's that? Jeremiah 15 and verse 3. The Lord got ways, judgment such for you, for you people of Babylonian and you Jakes. That's what these demon captains set up for. That's what these wicked spirits out here created for. You know? Sudden destruction is going to soon come upon you. All right.
Right. And like y'all was saying, that's what Trump came in with. He came in with peace. That was his presidential campaign. Peace. He was promoting peace, bro. Was he not?
So I'm saying, I just want people to stop dying towards the end.
Right. That's what that's ultimately what he's saying with the tariffs. The tariffs is a what is it? Like the tariffs is supposed to be a momentum to promote peace, right? That's what the tariffs is supposed to be, like, right? That's why he said he gonna bring back American jobs. That's supposed to be that what he's saying is translating it. That's supposed to bring peace to the American society. If you got American things being made, we was talking about it last night. The reason why it won't work is because the mindset of the people is not dedicated to the hands-on American way no more. So bringing back the American way in that aspect wouldn't work. See, but that was his way. It's translated, loosely translated. Him saying we're gonna bring. I'm calling peace to America. Let me do this. Let me make this contract. Let me talk to this person. Let me sign this executive order, right? And so forth and so forth. He said, hey, but then it says sudden destruction. And that's what you're starting to see. You're starting to see that sudden destruction. Because we only been in office about 100 days or so, right? Am I not mistaken?
That's signed an executive order to where AI is going to replace teachers in these coming times. Like they want to get rid of teachers. They calling them guiders. All right. And, that's just even. And I believe because when I looked it up, they had basically 2-hour classes, and the rest of the day they was doing shit basically we would do at a basic job. Like they just teaching kids to be workers. But,
Damn. So they're not teaching them. What they teaching them in hours? Nothing. And
no, they teaching them AI teaching them, math, science, history, and whatnot. But they ask the kids like, is AI teaching you or you teaching or are you being taught? It was like they feel like AI is teaching them, but then they still feel like they learning by themselves. But with AI, it's with left hand and right hand wisdom that's being put out here. So these kids listening to that, and they got guiders or people that's not even certified in certain curriculums. All right, who knows what your kid is going to be learning?
Yeah, right. They don't know. They ain't nobody that be acting like be their witness. How do you know? Unless they got cameras and shit.
Right. And then they said with more studies on it with the kids who use AI as a tool, that they basically like try to do it the real fundamental way. AI has inhibited them to where they can't even do regular schoolwork. So the normal AI doing everything for you. But other one grab
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 6, and verse 6. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny.
penny back then was called with a denarius, which would be a day's pay, which that would be for your bread. All right, but now we come to a time where it's about to be inflation. So you about to be spending your whole day's pay on just maybe a day or two worth of food.
That's like, we made breakfast this morning. And the teacher was essentially like, damn, I just spent $40 on bread. She was like, she remember going in the grocery store because that's what you shopping for crib. She was like, I remember just buying breakfast, the shit we eat in the mornings, you know what I'm saying, on the weekends, or when she cook in the mornings, was only $20. You know what I'm saying? So it's just showing you how things are on the rise. You know what I'm saying? And people starting to feel it. Here it is. You got motherfuckers that might, you know what I'm saying? You know how it is in the Jake neighborhood, because this shit gonna affect Jake. You know what I'm saying? This word is for Jake. You know what I'm saying? It's letting Jake know the plots of the enemy. Because at the end of the day, it's just like this. Here it is, they give, like the script said, give the short of heart. Here it is, people get EBT. All right, nothing wrong with that. But motherfuckers, you got motherfuckers with all these kids, okay, they getting $1,100 in food stamps. And your mind, like, damn, that's a lot of money for the month. You know what I'm saying? But because of the way things are on the rise, that 1,100 ain't even get you all the way to the month. That's probably getting you through 2 weeks. And then now the freezer and the refrigerator and other things are already back empty. and you like, shit, goddamn, now you trying to goddamn figure out how I'm gonna survive for the rest of the month until I can get to back where the stamps roll in again. That's what it turned into.
Yeah. So like the hyperinflation.
Yeah.
You gonna grab that word real quick. That's what you see. Like you said, bro, everything's doubling. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. That's what the spirit is on.
It was a TikTok video I seen to where it was a dude. He basically went online and he was shopping at Walmart, and I guess like it was like 3 years ago. He looked at the same food that he ordered from back then to now. He said the prices showed it was like double or a little more than double.
Yeah, like, and this one, and in the same way, I think to get y'all into the stuff me. But I got food from a certain place 3 days out of this week, right? You know what I'm saying? So I got food from real though. I got food from this place 3 times out of this week, right? Each place that I went to, the price was different.
Yeah. Okay, but with
From the same meal. The same meal, not no difference in the meal, same chain of food, different price. 3 different locations.
And that's crazy. And Brother DoorDash kind of was saying on this yesterday, towards the end of the live. Jaquan brought the point up. When he brought it up, I'm like, that's right, bro, because I saw it myself. Bro, in McDonald's, these niggas is weighing the food. They got a scale on the goddamn counter, and they got to weigh the food to make sure the portions and rations add up.
They're gonna give you 1 fry.
Yeah. For real, bro, that's real shit. I'm talking about in McDonald's though. This is a fast food restaurant. This ain't like a who? It's a fast food giant. So that means they supposed to have an abundance of this fake shit that they selling y'all. How they don't have an abundance of this fake shit that they selling you? Because they showed you exactly what's going on at the time we actually in, bro. That's the point.
And bro, it go to the point that one of those economists, like when the stock market when it failed, that's when you go back to one of them economists, right? Because when you went into it, the dude said he was like, the last time that America put sanctions on the other nations, he said it was bread lines. You see what I'm saying? So it's showing you if it was gonna be bread lines, if it's bread lines, that means they're doing what? They're rationing the food.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point. And we mentioned McDonald's as being a big, what you say, a big giant in the food industry. That shit is in China. That shit is all over the world. Africa. We mentioned that because it just put a perspective on the dynamic of the time we are fucking living in, dude. That's why you think cannibalism is the scriptures talk about cannibalism. Why you think that's going to be a thing in the time to come? You see? Go ahead. Get that word that you have, bro.
This is the word measure in the book of Revelation 6:6. It says a poinix, a dry measure containing 4 hoplate or 2 satires.
Yeah, it said dry measure, right? It said, right, 2 satires, less than our, it says less than our quart, 1 liter, or as much as will support a man. That's the point. Or as much as will support a man of moderate appetite for a day.
And you see what that's saying? You got to understand how cold that is. That's just one person.
Mm-hmm.
So how much more motherfucker with 4 and 5 kids, or a family, a woman and children? You gotta realize how real that's gonna be. He said that was just for one man, for one appetite.
This is Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 26. It says, and when I have broken the staff of your bread, and that's what the Lord is doing, he's crippling the society by stopping these imports. All right. It says, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven. So you're gonna have families, piling up in one house, man. All right. Just to survive, because people can't pay rent like that. It says, and they shall deliver your bread again by weight. So your food gonna soon be rationed, man. your women start to ration your food just so you can make it through the week. All right, you might have to have just out of peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You might probably have to have a peanut butter and cracker sandwich. You know? But it says, and you should eat and not be satisfied. And you're gonna eat that shit and you still gonna be hungry. You're gonna be looking at her food, you're gonna be looking at your kids' food. Not then you're gonna be looking out the window at your neighbor's food.
Yeah, because people don't fast. They don't know. They don't know how to go like without. You know what I'm saying? The major thing that aids to the bewitching of the mind of these Americans is food. Food is a weapon against the American society. That's one of the biggest things, and not just food, but the material things in America is one of the biggest things that is bewitched. One of the biggest things that adds and aids to the bewitching of your American people, man. You understand what you're saying?
I'm gonna say this food is all bioengineered and it's all, caked up with addictive chemicals and drugs, man. That
Exactly.
keep you addicted, keep you want to buy that same thing over and over, then it's killing you at the end of the day.
And you're gonna be poor.
Let's go.
That's why you know ain't no nutritional value in the food.
Yep. Yeah, they exactly. It's nothing in the food that add nutrition to the body. When you eat, you're supposed to have energy. But in this world, when we eat, we get sleepy. You see, things happen when we eat this food here, man. You see, because all the chemicals and dyes that's embedded inside the food. And like Kwame Hollow was just talking about, you said withdrawal. We were basically gonna have withdrawal because it's a drug against you, man. So once it's a scarcity of it, you can't constantly feed yourself, and that's in the sense that the repetitiveness of it. You know how it is, bro. Bros know how it is when you constantly doing something over and over, and once it's slightly altered, it's like a certain feeling you get. You like, damn, it's weird. But in this case, that's going to be the weirdness for the people, and they're gonna react to it. You see, they're gonna react to it, and that's what you were talking about earlier. Coming against friends, neighbors, and so forth. They know niggas. They know who niggas. Like they know who's storing up food because niggas talk. You know what I'm saying? Don't they are people talk. And man, like, no, girl, I've been buying 10 cases of water every month.
Bro, and that's because, bro, I mentioned it because it's Mike. You know what I'm saying? I beloved Elder Malcolm. You feel me? He did a lesson a while back, and his sister. I feel like he played the audio of his sister telling him, like, or he was quoting it, what his sister had told him, like, she was thanking him. No, yeah, he played the audio of his sister, and she was like, she was thanking him, for the stuff that he's done told her and showed her. And he was like, because she was like, telling him certain stuff, and he was like, and everything you said is right too. She was like, you're starting to see all these things that we prophesied about. These stores go empty, these prices go up, everything that he's done prophesied to her, she's watching it come to pass. And said that's what's going to happen to the masses of the people. He said when these things happen, he said, and lo, it will come. He said, then shall it be known that a prophet have been among them.
Which is a what? What you said is a what? A warning.
Yep.
That was a warning. A warning comes so that you can know, that you can prepare.
Yep.
And gather the things, the armory, and whatever you need, so you won't get overtook it in that time or whatever time that may be.
That's right. Huh?
So that was a warning.
Yep.
And she thanked him for the warning so that now she can, okay, yeah, I wasted this time, but I still got time to prepare. Enough.
Yep.
That's it.
Because you ain't eating with the Satan devices that you should get advantage.
Right.
Because these are all the plots and schemes. Because that's what the Bible told us. These plots, schemes, you know what I'm saying? These snares. You know what I'm saying? That the devil is laying out here for you to fall into because you're not aware of what's truly taking place. You feel what I'm saying? And that is like the conversation me and the brother was having yesterday. People don't understand this is a spiritual thing that's taking place, right? That's why the scripture say we walk by faith and not by sight. You feel what I'm saying? We ain't caught up in the things that we see our trust solely in YAHWASHI outside. Because when this shit goes dark, that's what we're gonna have, right? That's the light we're gonna have. That's gonna be where our resources come from. Right? The things that we elect. You know what I'm saying? That's when the Lord is gonna provide for us. Right, here it is, but these people, they're not gonna have any out or the straits that they're gonna be put in. Right, there ain't going to be any resources for them. I had a precept.
Oh yeah,
God's life.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go back to that.
Because it goes to the point that y'all was making, like you got to realize, like the brother said, these people don't know how to fast, but they don't even know how to refrain from the appetites of their lust. They're constantly giving into their lust, so they don't know how to refrain from those things. But the Lord is going to pull all those things away. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to jump down. This Isaiah 24:1, and I'm going to jump. It says, behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty. So it's the Lord that's doing this. Taking away the resources, taking away the mirth of this life, taking away the norms. And that's what's being destroyed, the norms. Like that's what, like Ecclesiastes 12, like when you look at when these things be not darkened, the things that the way that you're used to looking at America, the Lord is going to change that, right? So it says, and maketh it waste and turneth it upside down. It says, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And that's what the fuck finna happen. You finna see motherfuckers really through and fro. Motherfuckers running around like chickens with their heads cut off because they don't know what the fuck to do. Like that perplexity of mind, right? So then when you jump down, when you jump down, I'm gonna jump down to verse 8. It's Isaiah 24:8. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just start at 7. It says the new wine mourner, divine language, all the merry-hearted do sigh. And so all these motherfuckers that's running around all merry and happy and jolly and jolly in the folly, the Lord finna turn the switch off on that shit. Real talk. So it says, verse 8, it says the mirth, the tabret, ceases. So the music, y'all, that shit, these motherfuckers, because the sun coming out, they think they ought to be here, but they be jigging and partying and getting down. The Lord finna show you another thing, because now the judgment's gonna go out, right? So it says the noise of them that rejoice. It said the noise of them that rejoice endeth. It said the joy of the harp ceases. So that music, all that bullshit, that partying bullshit is over. It says they shall not drink wine with the song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So motherfuckers that's used to goddamn, they going through shit and they giving themselves over into the bottle. Not even that drink gonna be able to take away the straits that you're gonna be in and the shit that you're seeing out in the street.
Yeah, what that is, that's symbolic for, like was in on it, is that mirth, that joy.
Yep.
That's symbolic for that mirth and that joy turned into mourning.
That's right.
So when you drink now, it's not for celebration. It's for mourning.
Yep.
It's because of the lack thereof or the unaliveness of
yep.
You know, and so forth and so forth.
And now you drinking and it don't got the same effect that you used to have. It can't take away the pain. You know what I'm saying? Or it don't make you happy and merry. So then it says, verse 10, it says the city of confusion, which is Babylon. That's right. Right? It says the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Right? And you finna see that. And no man gonna come in, and no men ain't gonna be scared to leave their homes. Men, but women, we know they gonna be scared. It's gonna be so much evil in these streets that men ain't gonna want to leave their homes, because they might not make it back. You know, you see it on these end time movies. I don't come back. Hey, there was some killers out there.
Right, you gotta get a speech.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? For real. Then you know what I'm saying? Now you see the family, then you see the woman and the kids in there bugging out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, now it's been hours on end. And he ain't made it back home. And then he finally come back and they greet him like they ain't never seen him before in their life.
Yeah. Hey, before you read that, I got this. It said I had typed in $20 today versus 1990. It says and they did it from 1990 to 2020 as equivalent in purchasing power to about $10.10 in 1990, and an increase of $9.90 over 30 years. It says an increase of $9.90 over 30 years. The dollar had an average inflation rate of $2. Inflation rate of 2.30% per year between 90 and 2020, producing a cumulative price increase of 49.50%. That's a 50% increase in 30 years. Shit, I'm 32. I'm about to be 32. Brothers in their 30s. You know what I'm saying? So that's at the same time we've been born and living on this earth, right? It's equivalent to this what age one and living continues one's life in terms of finances and so forth, right? Has increased over 50%, bro. And that's just within a short time span that we've been living, you know? Like, that's crazy, bro. And one thing we read was that it said, I think it was in the definition you read. Didn't it say something about it, or it was something that you had read on ChatGPT?
Yeah,
What was that one part? It said it talked about it extending, like it was a quick flow.
it said it still have to reflect this approximately the time rise extremely quickly and uncontrollably.
There you go. So it says extremely quickly and uncontrollably, bro. So the time we in now is going to be expedited between those. It's not going to be like the 30 years. It's going to be it's being expedited. That was in 2020. From 2020 to 2005, this shit has fucking been expedited, bro. You see how drastic the world has changed in 5 years? We're talking about 30 years span for it. This is 5 years, bro. It is and so that's what's about to happen. Esau is fucking about to fall. Bitch almost bust that shit. You got it, Hot. You got it, Mom.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 6, and verse 6. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat or a penny.
To that measure, and it was just for enough for one man to eat. What's the paraphrasing? So these are times we coming into. All right, you're gonna barely be able to have satisfied stomach.
It says, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Right. Don't hurt the oil or the wine. All right. And, who's holding the oil and the wine? Who's the vessels? All right. We are Lord. All right. So we the scripture says that the Lord's servant is going to be dead. Psalm 37 and 25. King David said he had the young and not old. Have you seen the righteous forsaken or seed begging for bread? When you get that, I got one that's pretty much the same. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, and verse 13. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, and verse 11 and 11. It says, but ye are they that forsake the Lord, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number.
Say that forsake the Lord, man. 2/3 of our people are going to turn back to the Lord, so they got a certain judgment that's coming to them. And they preparing that table, they get themselves ready for this judgment.
If the help for the society won't let go of the American dream, won't let go of the society. You know what I'm saying? Won't let go of everything that they see from it, but still trying to hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? Helping Esau continue. They helping Esau push that agenda, help uphold his place when the bitch get ready to be taken away.
Right, that's what one do when you prepare a table. I know how it looks. You prepare the table. You got this person grabbing the candles, you got this person grabbing the plates. You're helping get ready for the feast. So that means helping his place stay afloat, look glorious. You know what I'm saying? And so forth, man. So it's a judgment.
Verse 12, therefore will I number you to the sword.
2/3 of you sword. The sword can be in the form of these US soldiers with these powerful grasp to the heart, or with the missiles, or with the chariots. You know?
It says, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter.
Right. You're not going to be able to hide the Lord's judgment. All right? The Lord got, he already got a certain amount of numbers, to die.
It says, because when I called, ye did not answer.
Right. You got men out here prophesying, making videos week in, week out, day in, day out, and people just walking past with ignorant names. Right? It's that Zechariah 7 and 11. So they pulled away the soldiers. 11 and 7. But,
it says, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes. And
your own. At the end of the day, the Lord just gave you up to your own, so you can be judged. What's that? Those unjust.
On 2 Peter 4:9, he said the Lord know how to deliver righteous God to temptation and deserve the vengeance be a judgment.
Right. You don't have all the result, the unjust to that day to be punished. Right? So, but at the end of the day, everybody's falling within their lives.
That's right. And I'm gonna tell you too, because you say, because you like even when we keep touching on the inflation and that family life, because that's what's gonna bring in family. You gotta realize the Lord said, man, scripture say it is better to die by the sword than by family. The Lord is literally gonna allow these to find a way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a movie back in the day named Seven. They had a nigga chained up to the bed. And he was chained to a bed, and like basically he was dying of family. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember that clip. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but you gotta realize that's what's gonna happen to these niggas. Those niggas are gonna find a way, though. But Lord allow you to die by family, just have you in a tough little situation where a lot of other shit going on, but you just gonna die because you couldn't get a meal or you couldn't get a drop of water. Bro, that shit gonna be, bro, man, listen, you got it out.
It said, and did choose that wherein I delighted not.
Wicked. All right. Doing whatever you wanted to do. All right. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to do what the scriptures say. What's the whole duty of man? Fear the Lord, man. Keep his commandments. But you got people that's not doing that. They choosing to rather follow after Esau. They want Esau to be their God. That's right. So that's what you have to do. You have to choose in the God that you have chosen in this time to deliver you. All right. And Esau, like you say, not the way Isaiah 30, man. All right, the state of Egypt is about to be broken, man.
It's verse 13. No. Verse 13, Isaiah 65 and 13. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry.
Right. Storing up your treasures in heaven, if the Lord is going to look out for you. Because doing the right thing that you're supposed to do, it's all kind of times, or the Lord is going to deliver you, give you a way to escape out of certain times. Right? The Lord going to feed you. Look at the prophets earlier, man. How the Lord delivered them out of perilous times.
It says, behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty.
I got this Isaiah 3 and 1. It says, for behold, the Lord of hosts, Lord of armies, it says, will take away from Jerusalem and from Judah. It's going to be both southern and northern kingdom. It says the state and the staff. I mean, the support, because within this society, scripture talks about we've been nourished here. All right, with Esau, with his welfare system set up, everybody is pressed it and that. And once Esau, takes it from him, all right, that's part of the Lord taking away your stay, your support. It says the whole state of bread, and like we were just going into these tariffs, all right, with the stores going to be found empty. All right, that's another form of the Lord taking away your bread. It says, and the whole state of water, but the elect, they ain't gonna have to go through all that. All right, the elect is gonna be within these times they're gonna be built up in the spirit to withstand these things. Where the Lord is just gonna look out. You got people storing up bunkers full of goods, and here it is, big trouble. You out and about, praying to the Lord, hoping he look out for some food, and then stumble across this vacant bunker that haven't even been touched by nobody. And now you can be there for a couple of days to stay on something and keep going.
Speaking about people, presence on earth, but I mean, we're going to be in movement. Like you say, stumbling across the bunkers. That's not going to be stumbling across bunkers. It's going to be on the move. We ain't staying up food. So how we going to eat? The Lord will eat our records. Shit, he might even have it like, I'm saying like the Lord, like you said, license, you have to rate. He might have it like that. He might have a goal. Bring us the ring, drop us the ring. You ain't gonna hear this shit real pretty soon. Man. That's what we're talking about. We sounding alarm. That's right, huh? We sounding alarm right now. And you ain't gonna have nobody to come to your aid here pretty soon. I can't wait. I can't wait, man. For real, I can't wait because everybody comfortable because they got security and they got aid. See, once that's out, it's over with. But they don't even got a man.
Oh, these bitches gonna shut up.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And you niggas gonna shut up too. Cause you niggas, Esau's y'all aid. Y'all support. And but hey, look, you know, man, somebody then you got it back. I thought a mother Aaron the plumber, that's his name.
Yeah.
This nigga, bro, this Ninja Turtle.
Real way.
Man, this nigga, y'all saw that video?
What?
This nigga was on live, bro. He said he was calling out what's the nigga name? Whack. He was calling out Whack. He was calling out who else was the other nigga he called out? A celebrity dude. Anyways, he called out them niggas, bro, because I guess Whack 100 called on his phone saying he was going to unalive his mama or some shit. Like they real bloods and shit, right? So this nigga Aaron the plumber got on him. He said, hey, he said, you know, like he was like, he about that life and shit, right? And in the same breath, he said, nigga, I'm gonna call the police, nigga. He said, I'm gonna tell, you know what I'm saying? I said, but he like the point is that this big buff goofy nigga talking about he also gangbang, say he's gonna do what? He's gonna call the police. He's gonna go to Esau's. He said, I'm gonna sue Whack. I'm gonna sue what was the other major celebrity nigga, man? Hell, man. I don't want to say Boosie, but it was somebody of other major celebrity. He said, I'm gonna sue that nigga, I'm gonna sue Whack, and so forth, right? And then I'm gonna call the cops. Like, what? The point I'm bringing it out is because these niggas still, no matter how big and bad they are, no matter how much money they got and their status, they still lean upon Esau. They have no choice, bro. That's how society is built. So once all this shit go hit the fan, even you niggas, right? Because you are bitches too. Even you. So when we say bitches, we include niggas and women. all you niggas, man, it's gonna feel the sting, bro. But said the Holy Bible. Go ahead, Quan. Wait, you said you had one.
No, I had that same thing that you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
And then, just like you said, bro, you said something really true to this goal. Because it's like it's curse. You should go to the enemy for the one of all things. You feel what I'm saying? Literally.
Yeah.
You feel me? And guess what? It's gonna be like the Lord come remove those things. But guess what? Once this place is fully fallen, when you see all these things start to take place in the earth, right? What the things we've been talking about up until this point, you're doing camp, you're gonna realize like now there's gonna be a separation. We're gonna be able to separate from the society. Why? Because we chose YAHWASHI RAWCHAA, and now he's gonna be our sole provider. While YAHWASHI RAWCHAA being our sole provider, once this bitch is turned upside down, really what it's getting ready to be turned right side up, right? Because the Lord could have set everything in place in the order I was supposed to be. The Lord gonna be providing for the ones that chose him, and the ones that didn't and chose Esau. You're gonna see, just like that. That second king, no, go ahead. You want to say, you got to say Kings more that? Yeah. This second King 6 and 24. It says, and it came to pass after this that Benadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. It says, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged until an ass's head was sold for 4 pieces of silver.
Right, 4 20, 40, 60, 80. That's 4. That's all they said, 4.
Yeah, 80 pieces of silver.
Yeah, 88, 4, 80 pieces of silver, right? And you gotta remember, man, the value of money was different back then and all that. But the point is that like it was a famine in the land, you know, and that's what we've been talking about, famine, right? Mm-hmm. Famine is a scarcity of something, meaning it's not all the way completely gone, but it's a shortage, a major shortage, scarce, right? So and we talk about food, clothing, right? We talk about toiletries, like that everything that the scripture talk about with that Sirach 39, about the basic things that we need, you know, to sustain man's life. Matter of fact, can you get that? You got it? We got to get that.
It's Sirach chapter 39 and verse Sirach chapter 39 verse 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt of the salt, flour of the wheat, honey, milk,
and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing.
So these are basic principle things that sustain man's life, so you can understand, right? Because it said and clothing, right? That was another, right? So these are things that sustain man's life, bro. You see it on the movies all the time when niggas on the run and then he been wearing them clothes for like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? They wet because he been in the water. He had to walk through the pond. His socks is, he stink. So then he see the change of clothes. He stumbled across an old mall or an old fucking store in one of these outlets. And then he saw, or he saw one of the dummies, them mannequins dressed up. You know what I'm saying? He took the clothes off there, or a dead body. A nigga that was dead body, he grabbed the clothes off the dead body. He saw the shoes, it was the same size as his. Bro, niggas don't think that's spot that's on America gonna look like that, bro. And the scripture talk about no one to bury the dead, bro. You see? So that means you're gonna have people that's unalive on the ground with nobody. It's gonna be a normal thing.
It says, verse 27, all these things are good for the godly, so to the sinners they are turned unto evil. Right, and that's everything y'all been going into. All right, it named water, milk, honey, all those things are food, you know what I'm saying? And it can be used as medicinal purposes. It said clothing, oil. So for the ungodly, all those things is gonna be taken away from you, or it's gonna be used against you for your downfall. But for the godly, the Lord is gonna supply these things, even though we gonna lack it, man. You know,
I mentioned the blood of the grape. You know, we talking about that earlier about the wine and the liquor. There's gonna be a scarcity of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people go to them things for what's the word? Not pleasure, but people drink what I'm looking for. Comfort. Yeah, it's like a yeah. Yeah, like right. So they're going to that direction, right? It's people. That's why people drink. Yeah, right. What you say? Yeah, the cope. Coping mechanism. Water brothers. A coping mechanism. That's why niggas drink. All right, to cope with the pain. That's what we was talking about earlier, right? Where like it ain't gonna be the same type of drinking, and that it's gonna be niggas gonna be drinking, but it's not gonna be. It ain't gonna cope. You know what I'm saying? But like you said,
see, just like this, for example, like this, man. I'm doing that. Like when you make movies where you give a motherfucker something to drink, you know you're gonna give alcohol, then what they do? Something that's strong. You know what I'm saying? Like when motherfucker hit that blunt, like, that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? That hard shit,
yeah,
boy.
and look, you see, that's why niggas transition from weed to crack cocaine. And that. They need something stronger. The high ain't the same. They need stronger things to cope with that. Like, bring it back to the point what the scripture was saying. That is going to be turned to evil for those individuals in that day. You know, it's going to cause a different spirit on the people, man. For us, if the Lord provided, it's going to be eight. You know what I'm saying? We come across a bottle of wine, it's going to be used different. You know, but you
yeah, that was it on that. That was quick. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life.
Yeah.
Right, and these people is about to be continually disappointed, man.
Yes, bro.
You know, and these people, their hope is that everything continually how it normally goes. You know, America continuing to run off of its government, and you being governed by America. Your food and superstores being open. You go into your daily job, paying your bills, feeding your children, taking them to school. This, that, and the third. The Lord is about to do away with all of that, but He's going to take it from civilians little by little, piece by piece, until the point where it's all out, just hell and chaos, man. So with the people keep having this hope that everything gonna get back normal, everything gonna get back how it's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, that's gonna be the total opposite of what's really gonna happen. So that means their heart's gonna be made sick. A lot of people gonna be unaliving themselves, unaliving their children, unaliving their families, you know, and just so they can escape this shit, man. But it said that but when desire cometh, it is the tree of life. And we know that our desires in these prophecies come to pass, and Yahweh shall return it back. And that's definitely gonna happen, you know, regardless of what these people say or whatever happened.
So that's gonna happen, and that's where our hope is in. So that's what, hey, we waiting on the tree of life, man. Salvation, the kingdom. This is 17:76, verse 25 on point 25 at the top. It says, "And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 4 pieces of silver, and the forepart of a calf
Right,
of
well,
milk."
it's like an ass's head is a donkey. So you can understand. And then what's so crazy about it, the head has the less meat. You know, it's barely any meat on that on the head of an animal.
And then how much they paid for basically nothing.
But that's the point, right? If we said 80 pieces of silver, that's a lot of silver,
And that's
a lot of coin
yeah,
to pay for something that you ain't barely getting.
what we was going into in hyper, exactly what we was going into in hyper.
Exactly.
You finna overpay for basically nothing.
Yup. The things you really, really need, that food, you're gonna have to extend an extra amount of hand to just get a piece of what you so-called need in that particular time, bro. These niggas ain't, bro. These niggas got everything a horse they can desire, bro. They got all the clothes they want. They got the vehicles they want, the women they want. They eat the food they want. You know what I'm saying? They can America. They literally living an American dream, bro. You know, they can do whatever they want here.
So it's the consolation.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
I was just coming down.
that's right. I'll go there.
It says, until an ass's head was sold for 4 pieces of silver, and the forepart of a calf was done for 5 pieces of silver. So these motherfuckers shit.
But
They actually
right,
paying
buying,
for
right, I was there buying shit.
You had people that had pictures stored up either on the side of their house on the roof collecting 50 cents.
Damn, well, pictures is law. But like you said, the shit. God damn. God damn.
But, you know, like you got more in there.
No, I don't want, because I wanted to, go ahead.
I just want to bring this out. This Amos 4:6. It's like what it's talking about. These are times we're going into. It's about to be a famine, a shortage of bread, man.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, "And I also have given you cleanliness of teeth in all your cities."
Meaning you haven't ate no food, meaning you ain't got no food to pick out out between your teeth or cloth, man. Like, see, these are the times we about to come into. You're gonna open your refrigerator and you ain't even gonna have no food to eat, making bread and syrup sound.
Look, these motherfuckers ain't about to have.
It says, "And want of bread in all your places."
You about to be wanting bread, man. You know, the stomach about to be touching your back. You about to be bugging out, man. Hallucinating and shit. Sitting in the corner and shit. Yeah.
Hey, so it's so crazy about that because they don't like. Somebody elder kind of hitting on it yesterday about certain fruits on trees that Jake not aware of that they can eat. Just fuck off. If it's still some fruit, it's not no fruit on trees anymore. But the point is that dandelions, certain wild lettuce. You know what I'm saying? It look they say it's bad. They say it's the water. You with me? They say it's weed, but it's wild lettuce. Not all of them is wild lettuce, but it's because you look at the picture, they look similar. But wild lettuce is edible. Me and a brother was outside in front of my house one time. He put that motherfucker up, just ate it. Make soup out of it and teas and shit. You know, with those tinctures, those different things that help a nigga survive, man. They don't know that shit. They don't even know how to start a fire for real. You know. Hey, to keep warm. And one of the ways you can keep warm when it's cold is you heat up a bunch of rocks. You could heat up a bunch of rocks, right? You start the fire, and you find some rocks, you throw them in the fire. Like you gotta find some big ones so that fire don't consume it. And you let the rocks get hot, and then you take them out, and then you lay on top of the rocks. That's one way you can stay warm in the night. You know, that's an old Gadite trick. But whoever got it, like that.
Amos 4 and 6, it says, "And I also have given you cleanliness of teeth in all your cities, and want of bread in all your places.
So the Lord is breaking all stuff, man. He's going to be bringing the sun and so fast to where I can take it like pull it out your teeth. They're going to be able to have Kansas, so that, so their house, they got a lot of Kansas, cabinets or pantry, man. But people going to run through that, as soon as, hell hit the fan. I think I have a piece of food stuck in his teeth, like, I'm saying? The Lord about to, Lord is about to, a lot of people is about to die from dehydration and, malnutrition, malnutrition.
It says, yet have ye not returned unto me, saith the Lord.
Right. The Lord do all this, is people still go bugging out to where they just gonna turn to the Lord. That's why most people turn to the Lord.
About the Lord, even it's the judgment, because after the fruits were sword and all that, but it said the Lord scorching them with heat and all that. It said they repented not for their deeds. They got dark. Yeah, cursing the Lord, no. You imagine for it.
Can I go into our the spirit? So we go into this, right? The next chapter over. I'm gonna read this in the NLT too. This 2 Kings 7:1 in the NLT. It says, Elisha replied, listen to this message from the Lord. This is what the Lord says. By this time tomorrow in the markets of Samaria, 5 quarts of choice flour, 5 quarts of choice flour will cost only 1 piece of silver, and 10 quarts of barley grain will cost only 1 piece of silver. Right? So he basically was going to give them an abundance of resources. After not having, he's going to look out for the nation of Israel. Right? So then it said, this is what happened. Right? So it showed you, like you said, the wicked, they won't turn it to the Lord. So after seeing all these things, right, they like, shit, that the Lord let them know how he's going to restore them. We telling them how, in the midst of all these dark times, it's basically the same thing. The Lord going to feed us. The Lord going to do this, and the Lord going to do that. And then they mind, they think like, yeah, right, ain't no way in hell. So then this is what it says. It says, the officer assisting the king said to the man of the Most High, being who? Being Elisha. He said, that couldn't happen even if the Lord opened the windows of heaven. You hear what the fuck he said? He says, the officer assisting the king said to the man of God. So after Elisha gave him the prophecy, he told Elisha, he said, the officer assisting the king said to the man of God, being Elisha, that couldn't happen even if the Lord opened the windows of heaven. So then it said, but Elisha replied, you will see it happen with your own eyes, but you won't be able to eat any of it. So the Lord let them know, like, okay, you don't believe that I'm gonna take care of the elect. You don't believe that I'm gonna do the things that I said for the people that will serve me or that will turn it to me. I'm gonna show you. Because even when you jump down in it, right? I'm gonna start at, it says, because it's a whole story too, and you go to for yourself, but it says, this 2 Kings 7:16. It says, it says, then the people of Samaria rushed out and plundered the Aramean camp. So it was true that 5 quarts. So look, it said the prophecy came to pass, right? It says, then the people of Samaria rushed out and plundered the Aramean camp. So it was true that 5 quarts of choice flour was sold that day for 1 piece of silver, and 10 quarts of barley grain was sold for 1 piece of silver, just as the Lord had promised. It says the king appointed his officer to control the traffic at the gate. Right? So when the Lord gave them abundance, they rushing in. But he had to appoint an officer to control the traffic at the gate. But watch this. It says, but he was knocked down and trampled to death as the people rushed out. So everything happened exactly as the man of the Most High had predicted. And it wasn't no predicting. It was a prophecy of YAHWASHI. The prophecy is going to come to pass. It's not a prediction, right? It says, so everything happened exactly as the man of the Most High had predicted when the king came to his house. It says the man of Yahweh had said to the king, by this time tomorrow in the markets of Samaria, 5 quarts of choice flour will be sold for 1 piece of silver, and 10 quarts of barley grain will cost 1 piece of silver. The king officer had replied that couldn't happen even if the Lord had opened the windows of heaven. And the man of the Most High said, you will see it happen with your own eyes, but you won't be able to eat any of it. And so it was for the people trampling him to death at the gate. So it's showing you, bro, when you watch it, as these people don't believe on the things that the Lord ain't gonna do for them. So the Lord like, okay, everything that I said I'm gonna do, but you gonna get to see it, but you ain't gonna get to enjoy or taste none of that. The Lord has made promises to the nation of Israel, and they don't believe on these things. So because they won't walk according to the ways of YAHWASHI. These are the things that we've been straightly commanded to do. And so guess what? Now because they refuse to do these things, the Lord is going to do miraculous things in the sight of the people that didn't believe on the promises, on the prophecy, in the sight of their face. And they're not going to be able to taste it. They're not going to be able to taste of that protection. The food that he's going to provide for the elect, the protection that he's going to provide for the elect, all the things that he does for the elect, say they won't be able to partake in.
I gotta put the real quick on it.
Okay, which one?
Start with first, like showing them.
This is Genesis chapter 41, verse 46. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number.
Right. Good job, bro. That was the 41.
Right. So yes, scriptures talk about being prudent, right? Scriptures for a wise man or a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. So that's basically what Joseph did, because he was able. It was revealing to him the dream that King Pharaoh had, and he interpreted the dream that there would be 7 years of dearth or 7 years of prosperousness, and then you have 7 years of famine. So when he was, brought before the king, he remembered the dream that he interpreted for Pharaoh. He said, all right, I got to prepare for this famine that's about to come. And Joseph took it upon himself to do that. The king of Pharaoh didn't do it. Joseph took it upon himself to do that, man. And during this time period, you're going to have a large famine, but the Lord is going to take it upon himself to feed his elect.
Okay, King chapter 22. I started like started like 6.
So Genesis 42:6, and Joseph was the governor over the land, and it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth.
So right, so then Joseph's position, because it backs up the brother point that only the ones of the Lord are going to be able to get a benefit when darkest times upon the land, right? Joseph is considered a righteous man, right? And he issued out the corn. He gathered the corn, even regardless of his position, right? But
It says, Salaki, if I can add, we doing that now spiritually by preaching his words.
Yep.
I seen that live stream y'all had did, going into how, basically we the real counselors of the earth.
Yeah.
How are we the real counselors of the earth? Because we're feeding the poor, we're tending to the widow, we're tending to the fatherless by way of this truth. So it says, verse 7, and Joseph saw his brother, and he knew them, but made himself stranger to them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not.
so they came to that's why they came there, because it was a famine. They came there to get some food. And the only one that could ration it out and distribute it was the righteous man named Joseph, right? He was the one that interpreted the dream. And early up, he was calling them spies. He was fucking with them because he knew it's gonna say that something like he knew that they knew that he understood them, or they didn't think he understood them, but he did. So like he was messing with them a little bit because of what happened to him, you know, got in that position in the first place. So famine in the land, righteous man is involved. He gathered the corn. That's how they survived. Because Joseph, he was had the wisdom enough to be able to keep the people for them, man. You know, so you can understand. Right, to forward the kingdoms. Right, gotta go.
All right. It says, verse 8, and Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them. And he said unto them, ye are spies. To see the nakedness of the land, ye are to come. Ye are come. And they said unto him, nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come.
Right, so to buy food, thy servants come. So yeah, so the point is that because you could read, you can start where we started at 41, 40, the 40th chapter, 39, 40, 41, 42, 46. Yeah, up to 46. And to get the whole context of how this whole story played out, just back it up the brother, because our point about what's to say, these people gonna be able to, they're gonna be wanting to, but not gonna be able to partake in the things that are happening in that time. They're gonna see it and not be able to partake in it, right? Only the righteous, only the ones that's called unto YAHWASHI are gonna be able to partake in the distribution when it comes to the rationing of supplies in the darkest time. That's why we read Isaiah 65. You see? Now you don't have people still on a small degree eating, drinking and stuff, but the bigger scale of things, right? The things that matter in that time, the elect are the ones preserved in that time. The believers, the large multitude of men and women,
Right. Because let's say you do escape the famine.
right?
There's so much pollutions out here, you can't escape the judgment of the Lord. Like saying Amos, now you gotta deal with the beasts of the field. Let's say, okay, you may not be in the wilderness. Now you gotta deal with Esau and being thrown in captivity. You know what I'm saying? And these are the first talk about four-story judgment. So ain't no escaping the judgments that the Lord got set up for the earth. You know, if you're not of that elect number, then you're gonna fall victim by one of those judgments.
And that's pretty much it, because you really jumped down, but in 25 talk about how you filled their sacks. Basically, he fed them, man. You know, that's the point. The righteous man is going to feed, the Lord is going to feed the righteous man in that day. You see? You got it, Quan, you got it. Oh, yeah. I got it right here. I'm probably read it. I hear you. Start at 7. Read 7 to 9, and then jump down to brother 25.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 37, and verse 7. It says, rest in the Lord, Yahawah by YAHWASHI, and wait patiently for him.
Resting in the Lord, listening within scriptures, man. Yeah, we resting in the Lord, man. The Lord is going to sustain us. We just got to wait and be patient. You know, within that patience, you know, going through the suffering, but at the same time, you know, we got to go through it to get through it.
Right. Hold thy peace, the Lord shall fight for thee. That's the wait on the Lord.
It says, fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass.
Don't fret, don't worry about, you know, what these devils can do. You know, worry about what the Lord going to do for you. You know, I was just thinking about how the Lord just, you know, the brothers been going, how the Lord will sustain, you know, no matter, you know, what he put you through. You know, the Lord said he ain't gonna put you through nothing you can't bear. And I was thinking about that 1 Kings 17, I believe, with Elijah, you know, when it was that time and he had to go to that woman for the bread, man.
Right.
He told the woman, you know, bring me the bread first and then cook the bread for you and your son and everything gonna be cool for the paraphrase. So don't worry about, you know, these upcoming times. If you've been, you know, a righteous man in the sight of the Lord is going to give you a way out.
And those, they say, give a prophet a glass of water, so you receive a prophet's reward. Because you gotta believe, you don't have people that's to become believers in these dark times. You know what I'm saying? That they're gonna run across the men of the Lord, you know, and the Lord gonna, you know, it's going, the Lord about to work a mighty work, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's what's gonna happen. So a lot of these people gonna be preserved that way too. That woman was preserved. Her and her son was preserved for the mighty work that she did. You know, she followed the order. She kept the faith. At first, she was like, "Hold on, nah." And then she kept the faith, did the order, ration the bread or whatever, You know?
And this because we understand it, but it says, I'm going to grab this real quick because I took the hand that one out. In Genesis 45:1, it says, Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all of them that stood by him, and he cried, because every man to go out for me, caused every man to go out for me, and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brother. And this is after he sold themselves in the Egypt, where they sold Joseph into Egypt. They didn't know his identity, they didn't know who he was, right? So then it says, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Do if my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence, because they just realized who he was, and they like in their mind, they like, damn, like that's Joseph, that's our brother. You know what I'm saying? So then it says what? And Joseph said unto his brothers, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for the Most High did send me before you to preserve life. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding like the point that brother was making about the woman, like she followed she trusted in the Lord, and she followed orders and she followed direction, so her life was preserved. And so did Joseph by submitting to the will of the Most High and doing things. Yeah, it might have been uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm sold into Egypt. My brothers fought me over, but everything that was done for a bigger purpose, a purpose bigger than Joseph. He was sold into Egypt literally to preserve life, right? That's making peace with your life. That's understanding what's going on. That's what you call being in the spirit.
This verse 8, Psalms 37:8. It reads, Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil.
Right, because see, we also at a point of time where Satan is coming down on our brothers harder, and what is that going? It's to try your self control, and your discipline and your temperance. That's one of the main things you gotta have in this ministry in order to endure to the end. You need discipline, self control, and temperance, which is all the same thing. That's why I said
Psalms 37:8, it says, Cease from anger and forsake wrath.
right, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, we know what the Lord's about to do, and we in good standards with the Lord, man. Even though we in this world and there's multiple things that pisses us off every single fucking day, to the point where you want to get active, man. And the Lord is about to give us that time to do so and do it in righteousness, where ain't gonna be no consequences from Esau. You know what I'm saying? You gotta worry about, now I gotta deal with the law and this, that, and the third, man. The Lord's gonna allow us to get busy at the perfect time where it's gonna be the Lord's gonna allow us to get busy at the perfect time where it's gonna be, say that, lawful for water. That's all.
It says, Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Verse 9, it says, For evildoers shall be cut off.
With the wicked one, 2/3 of our people are the ones who ain't turning back to the Lord. That's not repenting, like fulfilling their own will, their own lust. All out wicked.
It says,
Like I said, like Scripture said, they can be cut off. All right, 2/3 of our people is going to be cut off by the way of either famine, sword. This is material.
It says, But those that wait upon the Lord, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, they shall inherit the earth.
Right, the ones that they're waiting on the Lord, man. The one that's crying and sighing, patiently waiting for the Lord's return. All right, we gonna inherit the earth, and we're gonna inherit what Yahawah man. Joint heirs.
Right. If I can add too, because waiting on the Lord, you're gonna go through things while you're waiting, man. And while you're waiting, you're gonna go through a desert storm,
When the desert storm over with, maybe a little spell, get yourself together, or you back together. Now you about to go through a rainstorm. You go through the rainstorm, you made it through the rainstorm, all right, cool. Now you go through the snow, you're gonna go through multiple storms, man. You're gonna have people chasing you, trying to chase you to deliver you up for a reward, chasing you to basically unalive you for whatever, because they're offended. You know, you're gonna have powers that be basically casting your image out to the public as if you're this person, you doing this, and the whole time that's not true. So all the forces is like that movie with Will Smith, Enemy of State, where everything was just falling. His personal life, his wife, they're leaving him, and his kids left him because of the shit that's going. Everything crumbled. His job fired him. Everything fucking crumbled, man. You know, and that's how it's gonna be while you waiting on the Lord. But you got to understand, YAHWASHI, he gonna deal with you the whole time. All right, yeah, you lost your job, cool. The Lord's about to put you in a situation where you're gonna have to depend on him to be fed, and he's gonna do it. He's gonna feed you, man, by miraculous means.
I got no. Now you know you good. I get spirit. It says this is 2 Corinthians 11 and verse. I'm gonna start at 1. 23. So like it says, "Are they ministers of Hamashiach Yahawashi? I speak as a fool. I am more. In labors more abundant, and strikes above measures, in prison more frequent, and death off." So Apostle Paul giving the breakdown of all the stuff that he's enduring while he's waiting on YAHWASHI, why he's doing the work of YAHWASHI. So it says, of the Jews, 5 times received I 40 stripes, save 1. He said, thrice was I beaten with rods, once I was stoned, twice I suffered, thrice, he's like 3 times I suffered shipwreck. He said, in a night and a day have I been in the deep. Bro, can you imagine that being, bro, stuck at sea, bro, a night and a day and having to wait on the Lord? Like, bro, and the shit that you, bro, imagine us being in the water right now out at sea, bro. You ain't really even worried about being at sea. You worry about what the fuck in that motherfucker gonna get hold of your ass.
But you know what's really the spontaneous fuck? What did the Lord do that he made it out of that? What did the Lord do? Because they didn't say how he made it out. What did the Lord do to bring him out of that, man? And what was the Lord doing for him to still survive while he? Come on, man. Let's just be realistic. You in the water for a whole day, all type of shit in there. What is the Lord doing to keep you alive to bring you out of that, man? Miraculous thing. Imagine the miraculous things that Paul heard, the miraculous thing that Paul saw while the Lord was sustaining them from the deep, man.
It says in verse 26, 2 Corinthians 11 to 26, it says, in journeyings often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils by mine own countrymen. He says, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness. He said, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, and watchings often, in hunger and thirst, and fastings often, in cold and nakedness. It says, besides those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches. So even in the midst of all that, that's us. We wait on the Lord, caring for the churches, right? Caring for the body, trying to fish out the elect. In the midst of brothers, like we said, going through hell and going through shit in their life, like the brother talking about. Since the year started, back and forth in the hospital for numerous reasons. You know what I'm saying? Brothers catching hell with these spirits. Brothers dealing shit with finances. Brothers got some type of ailment. But brothers still showing up week in and week out on the highways and the hedges to serve YAHWASHI until he comes.
That's a miracle, man.
Yes, bro.
That's a miracle. Because the things we go through, these average civilians would have been broken, folded. The first thing that a brother went through, that he endured, and now he enduring greater shit, right. A regular civilian would have been folded. Oh, I lost my job. Oh, no. Now everything is fucked up. Now you a junkie, you fucking crack addict out on the road just because you lost your job. Or your family left you, your woman left you, but now you just you didn't bug the fuck out. Now you just bug down the street because your woman left you. You know, a lot of shit that we go through, these regular niggas can't go through, man. They will never be able to endure it. Dealing with spirits and having to sustain them, fighting against the flesh, that's a whole nother demon to deal with, man. These niggas give into the flesh because they can't fight against it, man. It take the Holy Spirit to fight the flesh and to do what the Lord wants you to do, man. And these people not doing that because they don't got the fucking balls to do it, man.
Scripture tell you in Sirach 34 that because of the experience, we're gonna be able to declare wisdom. Much experience, they be able to declare wisdom. He that have traveled much, have much experience, you'll be able to declare wisdom. He that have traveled little, right? So you're not gonna be able to do those things. Our travelers with the Spirit. We've been traveling with the Spirit, training in the Spirit, walking with the Spirit, meditating in the Spirit, dancing with the Spirit, working out with the Spirit. What you say? Being intimate with the Spirit, our first love. So that when time comes, we will be able to declare wisdom. You see? Because why? We're reaching the darkest time. We're gonna need light. The wisdom, talk about that oil. We trimming our wicks, making sure we trimming that fat. That old man, making sure we stay lit. Trimming the old, trimming it to that old shit, getting that old shit off so it can stay fresh. Remind me of the brother, Samaria. And when you got the Palo Santo sticks, he always clean it off. Rid of that damn tar and that shit and such. So you can light it, it can stay fresh. That's an example of like trimming your wick, keeping that old man out of that bitch, bro, because it's gonna try to show itself again and again until we get out of here. That's because that's what's attached to this kingdom. That's that old man. So it's gonna always try to show its face in the mirror, but the Spirit allows us to fucking counter it, bro. Trim that.
That's what Apostle Paul said. What? Apostle Paul said, I die daily. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. That's what it is. You got to die daily. You know what I'm saying? You got to constantly kill the old man, like keeping this flesh under subjection. And that's why it's so important as we fight this fight of faith that we got to constantly be doing the things that feed the Spirit so we can overcome the flesh. If you always feeding the flesh, you're not going to be able to overcome the things that you're fighting in the Spirit because you're constantly giving it to the flesh. So it's like two dogs. Which one do you feed the most? You got to feed the Spirit so the Spirit can overcome the flesh.
Right. That's the time we're coming into. That's the point. The time we're coming into is the time where the flesh is going to be at its highest degree. The scripture told us that these are the chains of darkness.
That's right, bro.
So this chains of darkness is going to be at its strongest point. What the fuck how you going to fight against that? Because the spirits need a host. They need a vessel.
Yes, bro.
So the vessels, that's what's going to see. All these spirits, these demons, empty vessels, just available for demons to actually have a feast on, man. Because these people are counted as swine. YAHWASHI counted these people, and he compared them to swine. He said, cast out thy pearls among swine. These people are looked at as pigs, man. Unclean. That's the point. And what happened with the herd when YAHWASHI came? They went into a herd of swine and they committed suicide. These people about to commit suicide, bro. They about to unalive each other, bro, and unalive themselves. Rather with a sword, rather with food. Like, they supposed to be crazy, bro. Why? Because the flesh is going to be as strongest it's ever been, bro. The darkest it's ever been on the earth. And the ones that got the light gonna be able to look right through it. Gonna be able to go right through it. You know what I'm saying? You only can go through something without light, bro. Darkness, what happened with darkness? Darkness, you walking around. You ain't moving forward. That's the point. In darkness, you standing, you like this and shit, because you don't want to move forward. You like falling to a dip, like you doing this and shit, you turning around, going back the other way, going to the left. The light is, oh no, this is the way. You know what I'm talking about? Walking in it. Oh, let me follow this. Like, I'm like this. And we got our face. We ain't gonna need a flashlight. Our face is gonna be, seeing through the dark. That's that wisdom, man. So that's what we're gonna be. We travel with the Spirit, like the brother was saying, and now we'll be able to declare wisdom, bro. Like, that's mighty. Go ahead, Shalaki.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 14. It says, the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmities.
Right. Like the brother, the doctor was going to fall once for all his infirmities. The Spirit is what sustain. Through any perilous times. The Lord has put the Spirit on you to preserve yourself in any place, shape, or fashion or form, man.
It says, but a wounded spirit, who can bear?
Right. A wounded spirit, who can bear these like the brothers going up into. These spirits out here is broken, they wounded.
Oh, that's bro, and it's all these motherfuckers is wounded, but they won't acknowledge the wounds. Right? They trying to find a way to lick their wounds, but see, here it is. Now you got these, they giving in, they throwing in the towel, like you said, about to be motherfuckers unaliving themselves. Like, I give up. I can't take this shit no more. Even to the point where you got motherfuckers killing their children.
Band-aids.
Yeah.
Right now, they only putting band-aids on.
That's right.
Like the little fix, the quick fixes.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's going, because that band is gonna wear, and then you gotta put it with another one. This one hit this truth, it heals completely. It fixes everything completely.
It's the ointment.
That's right.
Talk about the ointment. It's like, yeah. He said you are healed by these words. James 1:21. It's able to save your souls.
Yeah.
This is what healed us. Why do you think we're able to stand upon our feet and walk? You know what I'm saying? We want just like, he also talk about people standing on their feet and receive the breath, but they not walking. Because you only can walk with the light. You just said it. No, the body dwelling in the dark. So we was able to walk. Everybody else, they stood up on their feet, maybe, whatever, but they ain't able to walk. They gonna walk, they ain't walking with the Lord, man.
That's right.
Because they ain't got the full ointment. Go ahead, I like it, bro. Get down.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37, and verse 25. It says, I have been young and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
What King David was saying, the experience of his lifetime, from being a young man to a king, he's seen, he haven't seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging for bread. So these oncoming times, the Lord is going to feed the righteous men. He's going to make sure they're preserved in that day. Whether they need food, water, shelter, raiment, the Lord is going to deal with his men. That was it. What else? So did we get Isaiah 3:1? No. We can go to Luke 12 and 18. Because well, bring it back full circle from the times, like we were talking about the times coming into, it's about to be a famine, a shortage, lack of bread. All right, you're gonna have people, storing up their goods because they know what time, we're coming into. But at the same time, them goods might not be for you. They're gonna be for the Lord's elect, the servants. That's what we were talking about. We might be out there because we're gonna be pilgrims on the earth, or you might come across them bunkers that the Lord is probably unalive. The person who's owned it previously, or the person who just left, and then now you in it.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 18.
Because you got a lot of these Babylonians, they call preppers.
It says, and he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater.
Luke
Luke 12 and 17, it says, and he thought within himself, saying, 16. This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 16. And it reads, and he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully.
Right, you got some of these Edomites, with generational wealth. They been storing up they money, they wealth, they food, resources, even certain lands that they have. All right, and they got an increase. They got substances. They got things you're gonna need, especially these preppers.
It says, and he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits.
Right. You got people who got so much stuff that they need even more room, so they got to make a bigger place. All right. You got people who got added more kids to their families that just reproducing. So they're gonna be like, damn, I might need a bigger bunker. I might need more food and rice and beans or whatever.
Verse 18, it says, and he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater.
Right. So he's gonna pull this down so he can have more space, all right, for all his substance.
And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods.
For all his labor, he didn't be able to get all his food, his resources. All right, he's going to be able to put it in a better spot, you think.
Verse 19, and I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years.
Right, people think they're in good cases. They think they didn't get, what they the right thing to do for themselves. When the case, yeah, you is supposed to, have things stored up. Our minds, we ain't perfect. You got people that are major purpose that have, bunkers filled with, their necessities.
It says, take thine ease eat, drink, and be merry.
Right. You know, they might be eating and drinking and married that first couple of weeks when all hell breaking loose. But you know, who knows? You know, got like the scriptures say that the love of many shall wax cold. So who knows what's gonna happen to where that person might be unalive or have to leave that place.
Right. Never word code is goes back to the cycle. But these niggas gonna be losing their goddamn mind. You know, you know that's why they're gonna be doing unalive and doing that weird ass random ass shit. Go ahead.
It says, but the Most High said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee.
So purpose, I think they might be in that good case, but really, like they're gonna tell a lot of people, y'all fool, man. I was thinking that this was gonna be able to save and save. You know, it's the Lord. He killed and make alive.
It says, then who shall those things be which thou hast provided?
All right, who shall those things be? All right, no time to come. We're willing to brothers out there in the pilgrim mode, you know, traveling throughout this country, you know, trying to seek safety day to day. All right, them things could become yours. All right, you'll be preserved and reserved through that way, man. So, hey, man, with that, Lord willing, this was an edifying cap. In closing, we'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah.
BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH.
Also, double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops, the great millstone, teachers of truth, and who well. Zach Shalom, the hope of elect. Keep on be strong. Shalom.
Wow.
The dog.
Why?